Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a basic psychological run there, and the pro wrestling psychology is what we're looking at. Big John Studd out for this, the January 10th, 1986 edition of um, the run with TNT. Studd basically saying he's not really happy with things. Also talks about teaming with King Kong Bundy a little bit. Still managing to carry over some of his dislike for things that are going on. Bundy and Studd do end up teaming up at the time. Also getting ready a little bit for the invasion of the football players in time for WrestleMania 2. Think about that. This is WrestleMania 2 time, and I believe Jose Luis Rivera is one of the guys who is talked about as a potential to try to slam John Studd. This is the squash match that Studd's in the middle of. Studd shoves his man back pretty authoritatively, and Studd, very basic punch kick. Bundy on the outside. Bobby Heenan, though, for this particular squash match, not on the outside, although Heenan is with Studd through his end of his run in 1986. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Studd, though, does manage to get a victory with a bear hug and a double underhook suplex, among other things. Big John Studd still in the prime of his run here. And then we go to questions for John Studd from the audience. Basically, woman making fun of the fact that he can't handle Hulk Hogan. Studd basically still trying to muscle his way around. Various other questions. Then we see a pose down, or some posing anyway. Macho Man Randy Savage. Savage basically says that, among other things, that George the Animal Steele belongs nowhere near Elizabeth, and Savage is in control of believing that he is one of the best in the world at the time. Says no one should challenge his power. Also, talking about George Steele, talking about being a champion in 1986, which he does end up being. He is your Intercontinental Champion by February of the same year, so he's about a few weeks away from being the man of his word. Macho Man Randy Savage then in a squash match here. Also, remember, he had done a prior heel run against Hulk Hogan around the loop enhancement match. I believe Mario Mancini, the opponent for Savage here at the time, and Savage highlights there in a purplish pink fuchsia style robe, and Randy Savage giving Elizabeth Flowers vertical suplex, among other things. Savage goes to the outside, hits the top rope elbow, and manages to get a victory. Savage is completely unhinged in his promos as he talks about not getting the respect he deserves, and also denies Vince McMahon access to talking to Elizabeth as often as he can. Savage once again is highlighted in another run there. Savage is ready to get up in Vince McMahon's face several times. I always would have wondered what it would have been like to have Randy Savage face off against Vince McMahon, a heel Vince McMahon at some point. Obviously, that never happened. Savage having passed away. Then we see the talk of the return of Polish Power, Ivan Putski, former tag team champion, and doing the powerlifter thing. Putski is posing and talking a good bit about not liking Jesse Ventura. Speaking of which, we see a Moondogs highlight with Ivan Putski. Putski coming back to the WWF, back for about another year or so, leaving in 1987. And Putski sends his man into the ropes. Moondog, I believe it's Spot, in the position here, and Moondog Spot clunks together with none other than good old Mr. Putski, and ultimately getting things to a good rate there, and ultimately managing to get things in a good way. More highlights of Randy Savage. Savage, basically a guy they're trying to put major heat on at the time. Also a music video, which has been dubbed over, containing footage from the time and WrestleMania 1, basically trying to hype the Saturday Night's main event era, the last year or so of the WWF. Certainly 85 through 89, probably the heyday. Maybe 84 through 90, something like that, but the heyday of the WWF. Junkyard Dog talks about the success of Grab Them Cakes as a musical album. Jimmy Hart also comes out and sings Eat Your Heart Out, Rick Springfield. Hart says that should win a Slammy. And also, people are not particularly happy with Jim the Anvil Neidhart coming out. Neidhart trying to stir up trouble. And also protect his manager while Jimmy Hart sings his song, The Hart Foundation, getting into a position of authority at the time, and ultimately that's where that goes. We will then close the program after the Junkyard Dog once again talks a good deal about the Grab Them Cakes concept, and ultimately the Pile Driver, the first album, a major success for everybody, and then there we go. We will close for the day with this particular episode. We'll be back with more right after this.